Ninth standard economics, second lesson employment in India and Tamil Nadu. So we are going to see about the nature of employment in Tamil Nadu as well as in India. The basic needs of every human beings are food, clothes, shelter, and one more essential need is employment. So as the human beings need, everyone needed food, clothes, shelter, and employment to survive in the world. We all need employment to earn money. Those who are engaged in economic activities in whatever capacity, high or low, they are called as employees. The people who are able to do any work, that people are called as employees. People who employ these workers and pay rewards for their work are called employers. For the employees who pay reward as their work as salary are called as employers. So employees are working people, employers are owner of the company or institution or factory, etc. Now, labor force. What is labor force of the economy? Labor force of the economy means number of people in the country who work and also capable of working. That is the people able to do any work. That people are called as labor force of the economy. Labor force of the economy means number of people in the country who work and also capable of working. The people who works in the country and capabilities for working. This is called as labor force of the economy. The age group of like 15 to 60 years, 15 to 60 years, people are able to do any work. Persons who are less than 15 years are considered as children, and person who crossed 60 years of age are excluded from the work. So they are not physically fit to undertake productive occupation. If larger percentage of population is accounted by children and old age persons, then the progress of the country would be very slow as the working force is very small. It means like 15 to 60 and 60 years people are called as the workforce people. That is the people can do 15 to 16 years 60 years people. 15 to 60 years people can do any work, like less than 15 years are considered as children and cross 60 years age excluded from the work. They are not physically fit to do any work. So if they are like 15 years, less than 15 years people and more than 60 years people are there in the country, definitely it will be affect the progress of the country. So the country's progress will be very slow because of the working force is very small. Employment structure in India. The nature of employment in India is multidimensional. It means some gets employment throughout the year, some others get employed for only a few months in a year. The economy is classified into three sectors like primary or agriculture sector, secondary or industrial sector, territory or service sector. Developing countries like India, that a large workforce will be engaged in primary sector, while small portions in secondary and tertiary sector. But in the well-developed countries, the proportion of workforce engaged in agriculture is less, and majority labor force will be in the industrial and tertiary sector. So, developing countries in the primary sector are occupied by more number of people, but in the secondary and tertiary sector are less. But in the very developed countries, the proportion of a workforce in the agriculture is less, but more people are working in the industrial and territory sector. Employment growth has increased at an average rate of 2% during the past 4 decades. During the past 4 decades since 1972 to 1973. So, employment growth increased 10 years once, like only 2%. Then, in the medieval period, Feroz Shah Dughlaq ruler Feroz Shah, he was the Sultan of Delhi. He set up an employment bureau to solve the unemployment problem. Types of employment: organized and unorganized sector. We'll say what is organized sector. Organized sector, it means where employment terms are fixed and regular and employees get assured work. It means it is approved by the government and also they will get assured job and also they will get good salary. In India, employees of central and state governments like banks, railways, insurance, industry, etc. can also be called as organized sector. This sector works according to certain rules and regulations. The employees in this sector are provided with job security and receive higher wages than those of the unorganized sector. When compared with unorganized sector, the organized sector workers will get more salary. Unorganized sector gives good salary, fixed working hours, paid holidays, and provide medical allowances and insurance, etc. These are the benefits the organized sector will be getting. Now come to the unorganized sector. The unorganized sector of the economy characterized by household manufacturing activity and small scale industry. Jobs here are low paid and often not regular, and they do not have paid leave or holiday. Leave due to the sickness also they cannot get, etc. Employment is not secure, and when there is no work, people are asked to leave the job. This sector includes large number of people who are doing small jobs such as selling on the street, doing repair work and so on. So unorganized sector when compared with the organized sector is different. So organized sector people get job security, permanent job, they will get a permanent income, get more salary, insurance, etc. So same opposite to the unorganized sector, they will not get permanent salary, they will not get permanent employment. If there is no work, people are asked to leave the job, etc. In the unorganized sector, the employment terms are not fixed and regular. They do not enjoy any special benefits or job security. These enterprises are not registered with the government. Now, public sector and private sector. We'll see the difference between the public sector and private sector. Public sector, it means it is owned by the government. Private sector, it means it is owned by the individuals. Public sector, service motivated. Private sector, profit motivated. Then public sector, wages paid by the government. Private sector, wages paid by the owner of private enterprises. So the public sector belongs to all, it belongs to government. Private sector all belongs to individuals. This is what the difference between the private sector and public sector. Employment pattern in India. In recent years, there has been a change in the employment pattern, and this has helped the employers to develop more flexible working patterns among their employees. So, the new employment pattern, through that, employers are getting benefit and also the employers encourage the employees. So, in what ways the employers are encouraging the employees will say increasing self employment. So, the people can do by their own any work. Then, firms using less full time employees and also more short term contracts. And through that, the people get more part time employment opportunity. So, due to that, the people's lifestyle will be changing.